Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Buck Theater, and this is going to be a divisive topic, one that the comment section I fully expect to be a bit of a war zone, and that's okay because I want to talk today about this. Well, this opinion that I have, and it's just strictly an opinion, and it'll probably never actually happen, but I have been kind of subtly asking Netflix to get rid of binging culture, and this is my video about why I think Netflix should end binging culture. And I know a lot of people out there love the concept of getting all the episodes at once and being able to dive in at their leisure and get it all done. Watch it all in one sitting, spread it out over a couple days, or spread it out over a few months, whatever your heart may desire, you get to do. And that's the perk of it. That's actually one of the benefits of it. And it has had the ability to get a lot of shows kind of put on the map. Case in point, go back to 2011. I know, long time ago, 8 years ago. In September, like post Labor Day 2011, AMC brought the first 3 seasons of Breaking Bad to Netflix. Now, the show was already in its 4th season at the time, airing week to week on the network, but people who had never watched Breaking Bad all of a sudden got 3 seasons of the show to watch and were able to binge all of them very quickly, get entirely engrossed and captivated by the series, and then go on to season 4 and build it up to the end of season 4. And if you've seen the season 4 finale, whew, ooh, that is the best finale of that show, I think. That's like one of the best episodes of that show. It's so good. And then from there, the popularity of that show brought us El Camino a few months ago, as well as soon to be 6 seasons of Better Call Saul. So there's been a whole thing that is formulated around Breaking Bad, the culture that started from binging the 3 seasons. And I know people out there might fight me on this, say, oh, I was watching Breaking Bad from the beginning, but its popularity spike came from September 2011 when it finally went to Netflix. So the thing is, one could argue in regards to that, binging helped the show, but the show still premiered week to week. The show still aired all of its seasons week to week. But what we got a taste of in that point in time was binging as a whole. A couple years down the road, when Netflix started releasing its original content, it put out House of Cards. All those episodes dropped at once. Orange is the New Black. All those episodes dropped at once, and people devoured the content, which again, at the time was new. It was fresh. It was different. But we're coming up on 7 years past the release of Orange is the New Black and the first season of House of Cards. Our culture has changed. Our viewing habits have absolutely changed. A lot of people nowadays would just rather wait for Netflix in order to just binge everything to get it done, get it over with, because we have this odd instant gratification aspect to our society. Everything has to be now, everything has to be all at once, or else we're not happy waiting. When it comes to, and this is, I will admit, I am taking a little bit of a selfish approach here. My motivations, while I think are ultimately altruistic, I do benefit off of this. As a content creator here on YouTube who likes to talk about shows and review shows and everything else, part of the problem with binging culture is it makes it very difficult for me to actually review a lot of the content that comes out in bulk because I have a lot of other things that I watch and I don't have the time to spend watching everything as it comes out. I don't have the time to spend in one weekend to invest 12 hours on a TV show or something along those lines in order to be able to review it in a timely fashion. And because of how that operates in regards to the news cycle, it's very difficult in order to get any traction on a review if the thing is not coming out as soon as it drops. And I wanted to just put that out there as being another reason on my end why I'm arguing against this. But it's not just me. It's a lot of other content creators have actually said the exact same thing. But there has been a big pushback from people who don't like that, who just want it all at once. And you know what? I'm not going to sit there and say that your thoughts are not valid. You have an entirely valid reason. Sometimes you just want to be able to sit down and binge it all, and then you just want to be able to move on to the next thing, and that's entirely your prerogative. And I don't know if there's ever going to be a middle ground on that. I don't know if there's ever going to be any kind of way to merge it all together to make where it works for everybody. But one of the problems that I have is when Netflix drops the content that it drops, and it drops so much content, I simply don't have the time to watch it all. And I know that there's the option to then come back to it at a later date, to come back to it at a later time. It took me nearly a month to find the 8 hours to watch The Witcher. It took me nearly a month to be able to watch that excellent series. Where had it been a week to week, I could have invested an hour. I could have done an individual review. I could have done a live stream talking about it. I could have done a breakdown video talking about it. And we could have had the time to go through episode by episode to discuss the lore and the characters and the action and everything else in the process, very similar to what happened with The Mandalorian. And again, this is just me. I will admit, I'm kind of being selfish here. When I look at the amount of fun that I had going through Mandalorian week by week with you guys, that was so much fun. And unless we set up a specific streaming schedule and to have these discussions, I don't think it's going to be as relevant as watching a show week to week and getting it right when it comes out and talking about it then, or at least within the first day or two. There are so many movies and so many TV shows that are coming out right now that it is getting very difficult to get everything. And that becomes a bit of a problem. And it's not just me who says this. I've talked to more people recently who have told me that when they go and they watch Netflix, they get stuck in what I call the menu problem, right? Or the menu loop. And the menu loop is when you log into Netflix, you don't know what you want to watch, and you end up just kind of spending 20 minutes going through the endless menu, looking for that one title that's going to stand out, make you go, oh, I want to watch that. And the whole time you pass over maybe 20, 30 things that you'd be willing to watch, but it doesn't quite feel like it's that one right there. This is the problem with the abundance of content. We become, when we become over inundated with too many choices, we end up not choosing anything. This is just a standard, human response to a lot of stuff. And that is also part of the perks and allure and appeal of something like Netflix, where you actually have that opportunity to just kind of like browse this never-ending catalog of different content to find whatever suits your fancy. But when it comes to TV shows, especially streaming shows, where Netflix has been canceling them within maybe, like, look at Daybreak, for example. Daybreak is a show that came out and they canceled it after its first season because it didn't bring in the right amount of viewers. But it also wasn't given the opportunity to bring in the right amount of viewers. There was a show on Netflix a couple years ago called Everything Sucks. It was set in 1996 in Boring, Oregon, about a group of high school freshmen. I watched it. I loved it because why? I grew up in Oregon. I was a freshman in 1996. That show appealed to me. Maybe only me, but me. And they canceled it because not a lot of people watched it. Because people out there still need time to get into a new show. They still need time to be able to get into something and to grow attached to it in order to build a community. And then also, more importantly, to build a habitual attachment to it. When you release a show week after week at a certain time slot, people will subconsciously, intrinsically know when that show is on. It takes 3 weeks to develop a habit. And if people are interested, they will come back and they will check it out. This is how we operate. And so when Netflix dumps everything at once and then moves on to the next project, people do find themselves lost in the fray. And I think it ultimately ends up hurting Netflix in the long run. And I think right now, with competition coming in from Disney Plus, which is going to be major competition once it expands over to the UK, that's going to be a big factor. When it expands over to the UK and other parts of the world where it hasn't been so far, and those people get access to all that content, and they start getting into their original shows and they're releasing week to week because they're not dumping it. They're not doing the pump and dump. They're just going to do week to week. That's going to cause, again, large communities to form around these shows. There's a reason why a show like Supernatural, that's been around for 13 years, had built up over time because people grew attached to it. Their friends talked about it and their friends could enjoy it week to week. There's a reason for that. Now, granted, to be fair, on Supernatural, a lot of people also discovered previous seasons and binged them, but they still then went and watched new episodes. And I'll give you another case in point. I was watching all the Arrowverse shows week to week, right? And then watching them on Hulu because I had that deal. When Netflix picked up the rights to streaming them, and they were going to be releasing on Netflix 2 weeks after the season finale, I stopped watching. I have not watched an episode of Flash since season 3. I haven't watched since they did that in 2017. I haven't done it. And the reason why is because I don't have the time. I can find an hour here or an hour there week to week and work it on something new. But when it's just sit there and binge shows all the time, I just don't have it. And again, look, like I said, this is going to be a divisive topic. You're probably going to disagree with me in a number of ways. Some of you might agree. I don't know if there's going to be a perfect middle ground for any of this. I have no idea. And I would love there to actually be a middle ground, because I feel that when we start to like build communities around these shows, then we can all have more fun doing it. And like I said, I have my own selfish narrative and selfish reason for it. Anyway, I just wanted to put this out there. I want to get your guys' thoughts, your guys' opinions on this one. Whether you agree or disagree, I want to hear them. Please let me know your thoughts, your comments. I will talk to you guys all later. Please, if you haven't disliked the video, do me a solid. Hit that like button. Maybe hit that subscribe, crack on that bell, and we'll talk again soon. Have yourself a great day, guys, and peace out. Hey, thank you very much for watching the video. If you want to keep the conversation going, and if you made it this far, you clearly do, come on in and join the Discord. Link is in the video description. Can't wait to see you there. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.